Hey, welcome to our Freedom from Suffering Now blog. I'm Dr. Steve Grinstead. I developed a system called the Addiction-Free Pain Management System. And, getting ready to move into a whole different paradigm with pain management in the near future. And I got thinking back to the origins. And it got me to thinking about a very dear friend and an amazing mentor that I've been working with for a long time, Mr. Terence Gorski, who is the leading expert for the last 40 to 45 years in relapse prevention and addiction treatment. And when I first ran into Terry, I had already been exposed to his model for a while. In 1986, the mid-80s, I was working in a inpatient hospital system as the primary therapist for a pain track for people with chronic pain and coexisting prescription drug abuse or addiction. And my supervisor at the time, Molly Burke, was within the first group of people who received Terry Gorski's advanced relapse prevention certification training and became advanced certified relapse prevention specialists. And she brought his model back to our hospital, and it really connected with me at many different levels. I started implementing it right away. And several years later, in 1991, I decided I wanted to go and get certified and trained with Terry. And that was one of the best decisions I ever made professionally, personally, and for my recovery. Because he was willing to risk upsetting me by coming up to me the first day of the training and saying he thought I was in the middle of a relapse cycle. He says, I know you've been in recovery a long time, but you're heading in a wrong direction. And we talked about it. At first I got upset, I pushed it away, I didn't want to look at it, but then I got real. And as a result of that intervention with him, I went back and resigned from the hospital and went back to grad school. A little while later, Terry invited me to join his faculty, his relapse prevention certification school faculty. And I'll never forget, we were sitting at a faculty lunch in between sessions of the relapse school, and I was complaining that there's nothing out there for people with chronic pain and coexisting addiction. I mean, there's nobody doing it. And Terry looked right at me and says, well, guess like you have to fill the void. And his mentor had did that with him many years earlier, and he paid it forward with me. So he says, go out and do some research, see what happens with people with chronic pain and addiction when they go in to get help. And that was another frustrating piece, because this was 1996, and I was working at some major universities, had access to their libraries. This was pre-Google, so research was a lot more challenging back then. But I couldn't find anything for 4 or 5 weeks, even with the help of the head librarians. I couldn't find anything. And so I complained to Terry, and he says, well, guess what? It's very obvious what your next step is. But to me, it wasn't. So I says, well, what is it? He says, you got to do your own research. And that kick in the pants there really launched me into going out and doing some research in pain with pain clinics, pain doctors, addiction treatment programs who worked with this population, put all that together and published it in a national article. And from there, Terry says, how would you like to work with me to develop a system? And that was the birth of it. I'll never forget, it was in Cupertino, California, at the Good Earth restaurant, where I spent many hours, for several years. And then I said, Terry, I want to take you to my favorite restaurant. And we were sitting there talking, and I had a yellow legal pad with me, and says, well, I really thought about it, and I'd really like to do this. Help me brainstorm here. And he did. And we started putting together the foundation for the first publication I ever had published, book-wise, and it was the Addiction-Free Pain Management Relapse Prevention Workbook. And man, that was an awesome experience, working with him, getting coached and mentored by the expert, and started developing the Addiction-Free Pain Management System. And it's based in part on Terry's Gorski Synapse model. And also it's based on a lot of research I've done, especially with some of the leading pain experts around the world, the International Association for the Study of Pain, the American Academy of Pain Medicine, the American Academy of Pain Management, all these big entities, looking at their best practice principles and interweaving it into my model for helping work with people. And then the next big step came when I decided I needed a doctorate. And as I was going through, my dissertation was Managing Pain and Coexisting Addiction, which later became my book, Managing Pain and Coexisting Disorders. The reason I'm bringing this up is because here was another intervention point in my career. Because at this point, Terry was sending me out solo to do Gorski Synapse consultation and training services. And I was in a doctorate program, and I was 2/3 of the way through my dissertation, feeling very overwhelmed, frustrated, and wanting to get out and teach more. So I called Terry and I says, Terry, I made a decision. I'm going to have more time to do this now. He says, why? He says, I'm going to drop out of the doctoral program. And boy, did he nail me. So I really owe that man a lot, and I just want to keep his memory alive. I want to keep his model alive, because most programs in the United States and other parts of the world use at least part of his relapse prevention model. And it's been an awesome ride. I just finished talking with him just a little bit ago, and it's amazing. We talked about some things from back in the day and about things that are going on currently. And he is such an inspiration, and I just wanted to share this with you. If you're watching this on YouTube, please go to the Freedom from Suffering Now blog, where I'll put some more information and some links to Terry's personal blogging site and to our Gorski Synapse website, because I want to keep this model going. And it's been an awesome ride, and thank you for joining me today, and please check back frequently. Thank you very much.